Chào mừng quý vị quay trở lại với chương trình Tôi và Việt Nam cùng với cuộc trò chuyện cùng với Gary Daniels là diễn viên của bộ phim hành động truy sát Angels. Hi Gary, welcome back. Let's be honest here. There's some people, young people in Vietnam, in Asia, or even in United States, don't want to pay for content, whether it's music or movies. So what do you view on that from an actor's point of view?
Well, I've traveled the world a lot. I've spent a lot of time in various different Asian countries, and I see some of the poverty and the standard of living. And when you see that, you really can't blame people. When I see that, you have sympathy for these people, and you can't blame them for wanting to get something cheaper. From a business standpoint and a personal standpoint, yes, it does affect us as actors. We make a lot of our money. We get money up front. But then we also make money on residuals. Now, I'm not trying to garner sympathy from anybody here. I'm sure I won't, because everyone thinks that actors are all millionaires. We're not, by the way.
Okay.
But yes, once the movie comes out on DVD, I'm talking about union films. We have a union in America called the Screen Actors Guild. And when you work on union films, which is the only ones we're really allowed to work on, once the film comes out on DVD, we get a percentage of the profits. It's called residuals. So you figure if people are illegally downloading movies, they're not going to go out and buy the DVD. Obviously, they're not going to pay $15-20 for a DVD when you can get it illegally. So that definitely affects my the revenue of an actor, the income of an actor. Does it make me mad? Definitely not. It's just something I got to deal with. That is today. That is how the world is today. Because of all the computer and the internet and everything, the world has become a smaller place, and things are changing, and it's very hard to police a lot of this, the internet. So I have to accept it. It is what it is, and I learn to deal with it. And like I say, when I look around the world at a lot of the situation in a lot of these countries, I can't blame these youngsters for, or who are not. It's not just youngsters; it's adults, or people are illegally downloading films. Yeah. I know Expendables, a film I worked on, was illegally downloaded over 11 million times. Now you figure 11 million times $20 for a CD.
Are you talking about the Expendables?
Yes, the Expendables.
Yeah, that's a statistic we heard about.
Yeah, so you figure, 11 million times $20, which people might have paid for the DVD, that's a huge chunk of income that not only actors are losing out on, but producers are losing. There's more profit they're losing out on.
So how do you think the industry is going to react to that? Because piracy is something that we cannot stop it, but I mean, do we have to compromise with that in a certain way?
Well, I know I've heard talk about releasing films globally at the same time, having a one-day release globally.
It happened before here, yeah.
Which will help. It will help.
It could help, yeah.
I think it will, but there's always been a thing. I hate to say this, but there's always been a lot of producers say when you sell your film, do not sell your film to Asia or Russia first.
Okay.
If you sell it to Malaysia, was one of the worst that it is known for, and now Russia is one of the worst. If you sell it to these countries first, it is going to get pirated. The film is going to be all over the internet.
Okay.
And so other buyers from other countries will shy away from buying that film because they know the people in their country are just going to illegally download it and watch it. So how are they going to make a profit? So how do you police this? How do you police the internet? I'm sure it's not just the entertainment industry and the music industry. I'm sure there's other industries that would like to be able to police the internet. But not that I don't know that much about it, but I think it's pretty difficult to police the internet. So Hollywood's got to come up with something because actors are losing a lot of money, producers are losing a lot of money.
I mean, with the development of technology, and in this time when a lot of people call it instant satisfaction, which means you can go online, you can download, you pay for that movie, you can watch it at home, relax at home on the couch at your home. So how do you get people to leave their home to go to the cinema? I mean, what kind of trend is going to go to in the future? I mean, when people have so much at home, like a home theater, would that hurt?
What can theaters do? I mean, what can theaters and producers do? I'm also a consumer. As well as being an actor, I'm a consumer also, right? So for me, I tend to categorize movies. If it's a small movie, it's a drama, people talking, chat, laughing in a smaller location, I'm happy to watch it on TV at home or on the computer. If it's a bigger film, like, say, an Avatar, which is a huge special effects movie.
Man, I love that movie, man.
Who doesn't? Or a big action film like The Expendables or something, where you've got explosions and stuff going on. I prefer myself to see those kind of movies on the big screen. I want to get the full audio-visual effect and put them on the big screen. But how, with the kids nowadays with their video games, I mean, if you look at the graphics on some of these video games and the storytelling on some of these video games, it's incredible. So how do you get a teenager or a gamer of any age to get out of his chair and go to a movie theater. It's got to be something pretty special. I think Hollywood and the writers and directors have just got to come up with much more creative, much better ideas and make better films. Hollywood seems to be so into sequels nowadays. You know, you make one film, it's a success, they make a second, they make a third, they make a fourth. I think a lot of people get bored of that. So why go to the theater? Why pay 15, 20 bucks or whatever it is now to go to a theater and watch a film? So what can they do? Get more creative. Got to make better films. Get those people out of this, get them off the armchair and into the movie theaters.
More sounds, more action.
It's challenging, right? It's a challenge for Hollywood, or for all filmmakers worldwide.
You had a lot of experience working with Asians, movie makers or Asians actors. What do you think about the chance of an Asian actors to be successful in the Hollywood or in the world?
It's difficult.
Because we don't see that a lot.
No, it's very difficult. I think I went back to mentioning earlier about when buyers look at a film, and it's very much star-driven nowadays. Like, who is it? The first thing they're going to ask is who is in the film, because they want to know if they're going to spend the money on this film and put it in whatever 1,000 theaters. Is the star going to have the pulling power to bring the audiences in to make their money back? Because it takes a lot of money to invest in putting your money in theaters, you know, in your prints and your advertising. You have to spend a lot of money. So for Asian actors, if they don't have that big name, they may have a big name in their own country, which means they will be teamed up with a Western actor. That's the best chance they've got. Even if you look at Jackie Chan's films, the most successful ones he's done in Hollywood are where he's done the Rush Hour series, where he's teamed up with Chris Tucker, or like Shanghai Night, Shanghai Noon, where he teamed up with Owen Wilson. They team him up with a Western actor to get the most out of it. For me, I feel the hardest thing for Asian actors is, like, one of my favorite Asian actors is Chow Yun-fat, a Chinese actor. I'm sure you're familiar with him. Back in the 80s, he was doing movies with John Woo, right? Like A Bullet in the Head, A Better Tomorrow. What an unbelievable actor. But when he has to come to America and act, he has to learn English, and he's acting in a completely different language.
Okay, so language could be a big problem.
Even for me, something, being British, when I was starting out, you know, they complain that I have a British accent, so they send me to speech class, so they want me to have an American accent, lose my British accent. But when you're acting, the idea of acting is to be natural. It's no acting, actually. You have to be
yourself,
natural, right?
You can speak.
But if you're thinking about, oh, am I speaking right? Is my dialect right? Is my tone right?
There's no acting anymore.
It's really, obviously, you're not being natural, because in a natural, when we're talking like this, I'm not worried right now about how I talk or what I say, right? So you're not being so natural. And I look at when Chow Yun-fat first came to America and some of his performances, it's very different. And I think it's very, very hard for these kind of Asian actors, especially dramatic actors. If you look at the actors that have really been successful from Asia, Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, it's the physical movement. And the physical movement transcends cultures, nationalities, languages, right? A punch in the face, a kick in the head translates on screen pretty well. But the subtleties of the English language is what sometimes defeats a lot of Asian actors that come to work in the West. And it's very sad, actually, because you watch Chow Yun-fat in a Chinese film, oh man, he's unbelievable. Michelle Yeoh, she's great. But when they come and work in Western films, sometimes it's a little more difficult. Unless they did speak English as a child, then obviously it's going to be easier.
It's going to take some time.